Oh no, here's Brian again with more fear and outrage porn. But you got to admit, what's going on today in America with regard to American law enforcement or American policing is outrageous, and we need to call as much attention to it as possible. The thing that I'm specifically referring to right now is one of the last videos by the civil rights lawyer where we got this guy named Lanny and his son, I think it's Darren or Daryl Fentress, and their house catches on fire because I guess a lithium ion battery exploded. The cops arrive on the scene. The Litchfield, Kentucky Police Department arrive on the scene before the fire department gets there. The cops aren't trying to put out the fire. Lanny is worried that his house is going to burn down. So while the cops are there and smoke is everywhere, Lanny wants to go back into his house so he can extinguish the fire so his house doesn't burn down. But the Litchfield Police Department says, hey, you can't go back in there. He's like, what are you talking about? It's my house. I don't want it to burn down. I got a vested interest in it not burning down for me and my family. I'm going back in there and I'm going to extinguish the flame. They grab him, beat him up. His face looked like it went through a hamburger grinder, and they arrest the guy. If you are not free to extinguish a flame in your own house to keep your home from burning down in America, you are not free. I don't know what goes through the minds of these cops when they're saying, no, you can't cross that street. It's for your safety. You got to put on your seatbelt for your safety. And if you don't keep yourself safe, well, we're going to come and beat the holy hell out of you. What the hell is wrong with you? Psychologically speaking, I gotta think, people are like, do psychopaths become cops or do cops become psychopaths? I gotta think that there's a psychopathic tendency that everybody has before they sign on the dotted line to be a police officer that, hey, we're not going to be thinking clearly. We're not going to be thinking properly. All we're going to do is follow orders, and we're not going to be able to make decisions about what's right and what's wrong. What the hell is wrong, Litchfield Police Department, Litchfield, Kentucky Police Department? What's wrong with letting a guy take his own life into his own hands to extinguish a flame in his own house? And to add insult to injury, it's not enough that they grabbed him. It's not enough that they cuffed him. It's not enough that they beat the hell out of him where blood is just profusely running down his face. It's that they charged him with, what was it, menacing? Third degree terroristic threatening, because Lanny said when he had the cuffs on, he was like, these are going to cost you your job. He wasn't threatening anybody's life, but they're going to slap him with terroristic threatening. The name of the cop is Officer Justin Cockrell. And it's not just Officer Justin Cockrell. It's every police officer that was on the scene. It shouldn't only be one cop that gets into trouble. And I'll deal with the trouble later, which it's probably not going to be any trouble at all. But it shouldn't just be one cop on the scene. They arrive as a team. If they do wrong, they should suffer the punishment of doing wrong as a team. Because if a group of your friends, you and five of your friends decide, hey, we're going to go ahead and break into this jewelry store, and you break into the jewelry store, but then another one is holding the door open, another one is looking out for the cops, another one's holding the bag. Every single one of those of you and your friends are going to get in trouble for that robbery. So why doesn't it work for the cops when every single one of the cops on that scene, no good cop was on the scene, because if he was a good cop, they would have stopped the bad cop from grabbing Lanny as he was trying to go in to extinguish the flame and save his house. So it shouldn't just be Officer Justin Cockrell who gets into trouble. So they got him for menacing. They got him for third-degree terroristic threatening. They got him for third-degree assault of a police officer, when it's the cop who laid his hands on Lonnie first. The cop was the aggressor. The cop initiated the unjust force. There was no reason for that cop to lay his hands on a homeowner who was trying to save his home. You know what? You know what makes it wrong? Not that there's a law or a code or an ordinance or a holy book that says, hey, you shouldn't do this. This is wrong. Or some kind of something in the Constitution saying it was wrong for what the cop did. All you got to do is use your noodle and just ask one simple question. The cop, Justin Cockrell, should ask himself a question. If my house was burning down and I wanted to go run in and risk my life, saving my house and saving all my possessions and possibly pets or family members who may be in there, I wouldn't want to be stopped. Hey, Justin, you wouldn't want to be stopped if you went in to extinguish a flame in your house to keep your house from breaking down. And you sure wouldn't want somebody laying their hands on you and putting torture cuffs on you and then pounding your face into the dirt just because all you wanted to do was go in and save your house, save your property. You would not want that. All we got to do is realize, hey, we all know this is all self-evident. It's the golden rule. Do to others what you would want done to you. Conversely, don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. So not only did they stop the man from going into his house to keep it from burning down, now they slap him with all these ridiculous charges when the clear aggressor, the clear criminals in this case, were the people that were keeping Lanny from keeping his house safe and secure. And I'll leave the link to the civil rights lawyer's video in the description below. You got to take a look at it. Look at Lanny's face. Look at all the police officers standing around doing nothing while a crime is being committed against Lanny. It's beyond ridiculous. It's beyond outrageous. This isn't fear. I mean, like, what do we do? What do we do? I want you to leave your comments, and that we're not done with the video, but leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think we should do to law enforcement agents like this. There should actually be a law in place to where if you violate the freedoms of anybody for any reason, anywhere in the United States, it should be like this all over the world, but specifically anywhere in the United States, you go to jail for at least a year and you can't get out. You can't get out early for good behavior. Number one, you lose your job as a police officer. Number two, you lose your certification as a police officer. Number three, if there was any harm done to anybody, like there was done to Lanny, and who knows, his house could have burned down before the fire department showed up, and that would have been the cops' fault because Lanny could have probably stopped the fire. So they should lose their jobs. They should lose their ability to become a police officer ever. They should lose their pensions. The pensions should be liquidated to pay for the damage that was caused by the police officer. It shouldn't be paid by the taxpayer. It should be paid by the assailant. It should be paid by the police officer. And that cop should go, and those cops should go to jail for 12 months. At least, the very minimum, depending on the severity. Now, if somebody dies, if somebody's shot, if somebody's, wounded and they have to deal with that pain and that tragedy for the rest of their lives, then that cop should get a more severe sentence. But the very first thing, fired, no paid vacation, certificate gone, pension liquidated, if not all assets liquidated. And that'll send a clear message. Hey, you don't mess with people's rights. You don't interfere with a person's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, or property. What are you thinking? And I know what happens in the public. They let their guard down and they think, hey, we're safe. We're in good hands. We're surrounded by men who are trained police officers. No, you're in mortal danger. People die from welfare checks. They were going to check on the welfare of somebody, and the person that they ended up checking the welfare on ends up tased in a bathtub and dead, for example. Give me a freaking break. So what happens is they convened a special grand jury, and the grand jury, they ended up dropping all the charges against Lanny and his son, and then they put those charges on the police officer. But as the civil rights lawyer mentioned, it's likely that the prosecutors aren't going to want to prosecute one of their own state agents. And that's sad. And even if they do, they'll probably just tap him on the wrist. Oh, don't do that again. And then he'll go out and do it again. And then they'll tap him on the wrist again, because that's what the police unions are all about. They're all about injustice and looking out for the thin blue line gang. So yeah, it is outrageous what's going on. So that's the Litchfield, Kentucky Police Department. The guy's name who they trampled on the rights, the guy who trampled on the rights is specifically Justin Cockrell, Officer Justin Cockrell, who is right now on a suspension pending an investigation. We'll look into it. We'll investigate ourselves, and we'll get back to you and let you know if we've done anything wrong. So I'll leave the link to the civil rights lawyer's video, because you got to see it. You got to look at Lonnie's face, and it really says everything. This is protecting and serving. Is that really what this is, Litchfield Police Department? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, understand that your rights matter. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness matters. And if anybody infringes on that in any way, they should be severely punished immediately. I will see you in the next video.